What's going on, guys? Chump Change XD here. Hope you're all staying healthy, having a great day today. Just enjoying a little fire next to my solar panels, and I want to talk to you guys about my current setup and how I want to make more solar, right? I want to build a shed and I want to get more solar panels. So we're going to do in this video is kind of go over a few questions I've gotten about the solar setup and a few things that way, but we're going to start off by talking about where I want to put my brand new shed. I'm going to DIY build the shed the same exact way I DIY built this pergola. If you guys haven't seen that video, please go check it out. I'll leave a link like right here or so. And then I actually did a final cut video as well with like all the materials and costs and all that. But over here seems to be a great location for the sun to hit it for pretty much all day, right? Being bifacial panels, as the sun rises and sets over there, it actually hits the backside of these panels. I mean, it's not crazy efficient, right? Because this whole group of trees here kind of sucks, and no, I'm not cutting down the trees. This thing gets sun most of the day, right? But it's from like 3 p.m. to like 6 p.m. It's really kind of shaded for the most part by those trees, right? At least 2/3 of the way, if not fully engulfed by the shadow of these trees. So I'm debating on putting the shed either here, which would be the same situation here. It would be in the shade at about 3 o'clock or probably 2 o'clock, because it actually gradually moves this way until it just completely shades this guy. Or I could go over here and build the shed over here. Now, the plus over here is obviously I can make it as big as I wanted to, right? I could get rid of these guys right here, these little carport things, right? I think these are like 8 feet by 10 feet if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, they're cool, but they're just, I don't know, it looks messy, right? And then obviously this setup here. Now you guys know that this spot sucks because when the sun comes up behind these trees, it doesn't get hit until about 11 a.m., which that's the time it is right now. So 11 a.m. or so until literally about 7 at night when the sun goes down all the way over there, these panels will be getting hit. So that's why I'm thinking over here might be nice, because when those panels are shaded, these panels would be taking in all the sun, if you know what I mean. It'll be the exact same amount of panels as over there, just right here. So now in the last short I made, there was a lot of questions like, why would you put the shed over here? Because, you know, this whole setup sucked and yada yada for, you know, the way I have it now. The reason this setup sucks is because this inverter and all that, the entire system itself sucks, right? The inverter is a 3,000 watt inverter. It's 24 volt system, which is pretty brutal, right? I have a 48 volt system now, which works way better. It's less amps and it actually runs a lot more efficiently. Now that grow watt inverter only being a 3,000 watt, only accepting a maximum of 2,000 watts of panels is complete ass, right? Now, you know, the brand new 6000 XP, let me go show you. This guy right here, this thing is capable of 6,000 watts maximum, right? 6000 XP, it's kind of in the name, but it can allow up to 8,000 watts of solar panels, okay? So it's obviously like a quarter more than this thing can actually produce, right? Versus this little guy over here, that's 3,000 watts, and again can only take in literally 2/3 of its allowance out, which doesn't make much sense at all. It's like kind of a shitty situation overall. And if I knew more about inverters and solar stuff before I started, I wouldn't have went with a smaller unit. A 48 volt system, in my opinion, is definitely the way to go, and something that can accept a bunch of panels versus something that cannot. Obviously, that's the way to go. Now, when you're searching for like a solar setup, right, at least in my experience from what I've noticed lately, if you're expecting to pull a certain amount, say you want to pull 1,000 watts during the day, right, you don't need 2,000 watts of panels. You need like 3, 4, or 5,000 watts of panels to make that possible, to be able to export that amount into your miners or whatever you're trying to run, and then charge your batteries on top of it, because you want to have your batteries fully charged so it can last a little bit throughout the night or all through the night, depending on what kind of batteries you have. I have server rack batteries now, the EG4 LLs. If you guys haven't seen my new kit, go check it out, but it's amazing and I absolutely love those batteries. I'm getting 3 more actually this week, so that rack will be completely full. And yeah, I think another inverter and more panels will just help charge the batteries. I'll be able to run way more stuff. And yeah, I think this might be a good option. Again, when the other panels are shaded, these ones will be taking all the sun and they'll kind of work in tandem. You know, this one will be getting more sunlight than that one. in the second half of the day, and vice versa at the beginning half of the day. That one will be taking more of the actual solar. Also, when it comes to solar panels, you only really get like 80% of the actual wattage that they say they'll get. So if they say they're going to get 100 watts, like each one of these panels are, right? Like this is a 4-panel configuration, 400 watts, but each one of them are 100 watts. You're going to get about 80 watts out of each one of these. Even if they're brand new out of the box, that's pretty much the most you're going to get out of these things, right? It's going to be about 80% or so. I mean, and then obviously if I built the shed over there, I wouldn't have to ruin my grass and mess with the sprinklers and stuff. The grass is already pretty much ass over there. So now I've been getting a lot of questions about this solar setup that I purchased. What is your break even or ROI time on this thing? Now, if you guys are going to get into solar, you're looking at it completely wrong. It's not something that I'm looking to pay back immediately, right? Like I'm not going to break down a spreadsheet and run miners, crypto miners that is. If for anybody that's new to this channel, that's basically what I do inside that trailer. I'm not trying to run certain miners to break even on this solar stuff. I mean, yes, eventually that will be nice, right? Long term, yes, this will pay for itself, having free electricity. But the point is to have free electricity and not have to pay for all of my crypto miners to run 24/7, especially at a 30-cent electric rate. Is just complete ass. So this whole thing is just a long-term investment that I could eventually, if I wanted to, hook up to my house. I could run a whole bunch of stuff off of and go from there. But yeah, it's not really something that I'm trying to, how fast am I going to make my money back on this thing type deal. Also, since before I started this channel, I actually always wanted to get into solar just to kind of dip my feet in it, to be self-sufficient. I don't like relying on people for things. I like being able to do everything myself. If you guys haven't noticed, I build a lot of stuff myself. I do everything I can myself. I cut my own grass. I deal with all my own shit, right? I don't hire people to do stuff because it's just not who I am. I like to do things myself. So if I can dip my feet into solar and make content for you guys at the same time, that's kind of the route I want this channel to go. I want to enjoy what I'm doing while I'm doing it and not just make YouTube videos just to make YouTube videos. It doesn't make much sense. So now I really would love your input on this brand new shed that I want to build, right? I don't know. I don't want to just keep throwing shit in random places around my yard. I want this place to look nice, right? And cleaning up over here would probably be one of the best options, at least in my opinion. You know, for one, wife will be happy. 2, I won't have to touch my sprinklers. 3, I don't have to ruin my grass. And 4, this, again, will be all cleaned up and I can make it as big as I want. Now, I would only really build it probably where the solar panels are now, maybe a little bit further to the right. Obviously, you guys can see this big ass tree right here over those guys. Not really gonna go like under there with panels. Maybe I'll make the shed that wide, but that's really not my concern. It's really, where am I going to be putting the panels on top of the shed and how big am I going to make this thing? I might actually come out a little bit further forward. That way it'll help a little bit with the you know, where the sun is. But you can see these panels right now are getting hit. The back ones aren't getting hit so much, but again, it is 11 a.m. and yeah, this is pretty much the route of the sun. So once it breaks past these trees, everything's going to be here in the sun, and then we'll be good. Now, if any of you guys have a solar setup and you're doing what I'm proposing in this video, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm very interested to know how that would work out in a realistic situation, right? Like half the day that one's pulling more watts than this one, and then the other half this one's doing more of the work than that one. So I think it might even itself out and give me a lot more consistent power during the day. But again, I'm just brainstorming here. I'm not really positive. And then running the wires from this shed, if I build it over here, which is another positive, I can get the wires over to the trailer way easier than I did with, you know, the ones that I had to run frickin' 200 feet over to that solar pergola and obviously pop them in the trailer right there. Now, I do have to make more room for another 6,000 XP. To be honest, I think I'll just put the other 6,000 XP right here. I can wire it right up, same exact style as I did right here, into the side of the panel. I can, again, like I explained when I actually wired this entire video, why the f are there so many ants in here? Damn it! There's so many freaking ants. You know what? It's probably because of that damn hole. I didn't block that up yet. Oh, gosh. All right, I got to take care of that today. Anyways, yeah, when I wired this panel, I set it up for a 40 amp breaker coming from this 6,000 XP, and I have 4 more slots for a total of 5 inverters I could throw in this more or less load center. That's kind of how I designed it, right? 30 amp going out to all the units, but 40 amp for the incoming from the 6000 XP. I'll just add another breaker here and another breaker here and put one more outlet for the additional PDU that I actually just purchased, more of these switchable PDUs. This thing is fantastic. I can actually control it directly from my phone. And yeah, I'll probably just put another outlet right there on the wall, or maybe right above it. I don't know. I kind of got to figure that out, but it should be pretty simple to just throw another 6000 XP right here. But the plus of having the shed right next to this is it's not gonna make me want to move all of my shit out of here and put it in the shed, because I love having this trailer completely self-sufficient, and I could, you know, realistically hook it up and tow it away if I wanted to. But right now it's obviously grid tied. I can pull out the grid, and actually I might end up doing that. I might just put a pole here with a couple outlets to plug in the trailer if I wanted to have actual grid power, but that's at a later date. Back on track. I don't want to move all this stuff into the shed if the shed's right there. If the shed is on the other side, I might want to move all this shit into the shed, and then building the shed's kind of pointless because I'm not really going to be using it for all my stuff. It'll be for all my my crypto stuff, and then it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to remove all of this shit. You know, I might redesign this trailer a little bit at some point if I get more batteries, just because this setup needs to be a little bit I don't know, disassembled, right? Maybe I'll get rid of this setup and put this stuff in my camper and just use the 6000 XPs in here, and I can get them on the wall, and maybe just the batteries will be right there. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. But anyways, that's just kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. I appreciate you guys dealing with me just kind of rambling on, but this has really been it's been boggling my mind for the last couple days. I'm trying to figure out if this is the best place to put it, and if this is something you guys would like to see. If you want to have a full DIY build, kind of like that solar pergola I built, let me know down in the comments below, guys. Have a good day. I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.